Today on the workbench, we're going to start a new project. This is a Proto 2000 SD50, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this apart. That way I can see what we need for speakers and get ready to mill the frame out, because we're going to put in a Soundtraxx decoder, a Decoder Buddy, and we're going to use some more scale sound system speakers. I've got one for the front up here. It'll go in the cab, and then I'm going to, like I say, I want to look at this and then get this to where I can mill it out, and we can put a second speaker back here under the long hood. So let's get started with this. First thing we'll do is we'll take these couplers out. Try not to lose anything, and we'll upgrade our couplers. I've already broken that one. We can get over here on the front. And this is not a new model. It is, I believe it has a decoder in it already. We have to take, there's two more screws here underneath this truck frame. Let's pull these out. See if I can get in here to get to it. One here. So there's that. And I don't think there's any more up front. No, there's not. That screw right there, I believe, holds the front weight in. So let's see. Yep. Pull that right off. Alright, so we've got our body off, and like I say, this does have a decoder in it, and here's big no-no. Somebody, whoever put this in, put black tape all over the decoder. And let's see if we can get this off. And I think this is, yeah, this is an old NCE decoder. See how that leaves residue on that black residue. I mean, the decoder is still good. It just needs cleaned off. I may not have to mill too much of this out. We'll end up getting rid of this board. I'll upgrade the lights in this thing. Now this does have, you can see class lights there. Maybe I'll take some small bulbs and put some class lights in it. Of course, we got our headlights and number boards, and they're all in the same housing. Even the rear class lights could be lit on this thing, so maybe I'll try that. I don't know, we'll see. But first things first, let's look at this. The first speaker that I have will sit Here's one of our scale sound system speakers. It'll go right in here, just like this. One way, and I can turn it the other way. My wire's kind of tight there. There we go. I could put it in there like that. It actually fits better like that. So that'll sit right there, and that'll come up between our engineer and fireman in the cab. So we've got that. Our decoder buddy will sit in here, and then let's see what we can do with the frame. So let me get out my decoder buddy, and we'll see what we can do. Okay, here's our decoder buddy. This is a V5, and this is all just sitting in here kind of temporary for a second. Of course, we'll have our decoder. That'll plug in there. Just going to set it off to the side. I don't need it right now. So I think what I want to do, I want to get this, I want to move it as far forward as I can to give me more room back here. I'll probably, well, I don't know if I can take that down any or not. But I'm going to have to pull this whole thing apart. Let me pull this speaker out of here. We'll set it aside. Pull this board off. And of course, now the easiest way to do this would be to take and just get you an 8-pin connector, plug it right in, and you're ready to go. But we're not going to do that. I'm not going to fool with these things. Just going to cut them off. Track pickups, motor, another motor, so there's that out of the way. Get rid of that old bulb. Pull that out. Get rid of that old bulb. So these are pickup wires. Put that back in. More wires. Motor wires. All right. Okay, so we went to the Universal Standard 15 range to find a speaker, and he gives you, there's a number of options here for speakers, but like I say, I want to get the biggest I can. So what we'll do, I'm going to set my decoder buddy as far forward as I can, which would probably be to right in there. Let me put this underneath of it just to hold it. Yeah. So that'll sit right in there. And then I'm going to mill this frame out. Let me pull this over some. I'm going to mill this frame out probably back to right in here. So that gives me a good 50 millimeters. So if I look, and I may just kind of play it safe, I can get a 9 by 15 by 40. So that would get a 40 would be probably better. And I can mill this out. Move this a minute. Roll this over on its side. What I'll end up doing is, if I go 9 millimeters, that would be 9 millimeters right there. So I'll probably take it down 10 just to give me a little more room. So that's right in there. What do I got? To the top of the motor, I have 10 millimeters. But I'm only going to take this down to the top of this channel. Actually, to the top of that. So that'll let me go down. That's 9 millimeters. Plus that. So I'm going to go with a 9 by 15 by 40. That way I'll have plenty of room this way, plenty of height, and this is only, let's see, what is it? It's 18 millimeters wide. So that's what we'll go with, I think, is the 9 by 15 by 40. And I'm going to write that down. Actually, I'll just put it in my cart while I'm here. So now, let me go back. That's the universal standard 15 range. There's a micro range and there's a 17 range. And then a round range. I know I don't want the round. Let me see what size the 17s come in. So this is, what did I say this was? It's almost 18. Yeah, it is 18. I think I'm going to play it safe and go with the 9 by 15. That'll give me plenty of room on each side, about 1.5 millimeters on each side. I can take this out back into here. I'll take this out into here, because that will sit down like that, but it'll be all the way up here. All right, so I think we've got that figured out. Now, what I want to do, we're going to do a little more disassembly here, because I want to mill this frame. I don't want any of these, I don't want any metal to get in the motor or in the gear towers. So to pull these weights off, there's a screw there in the end. So we'll pull that out. And then there's one in the front here also. You can see that. I didn't get it all the way. There's that. And there's probably a couple underneath this fuel tank. And these are usually held on with double-sided tape. Man, that thing is on there good. Some good tape. All right. So now, those brass screws, yeah, those two brass screws right there. If you can see those down in there. Let me pull those out. Now, that should lift right off. So, there we go. All right, so here's our frame. I'm going to go mill this out, which I'm not going to do on camera here. Really all I'm going to do, I've got a small belt sander that I can take and mill this right out. But what I want to do is mark this, and we'll take it off up to here and all the way back to here, I believe. That's what I wanted to do. And then down to this level right in here. So I'm going to set this up here for right now. That way you can get a good side view of that. So what we'll have is, let me mark this out here. That'll let go from there and then right there. So maybe to make that a little more visible. There, there, and there. We'll take all of that out. Now there's several ways you could do this. Of course, the best way, if you had a milling machine, that would be great. Set this up in there, mill it right out, and done. You can use a hacksaw, Dremel, several different ways. But like I said, I've got a small belt sander that I'll use to take that out. All right, I'll be back. Alright, I've got this frame milled out. I'll lay that down there. And you can see where I took all the way down to my 11mm line. So, let's, we'll have our decoder buddy in here. Of course, we'll have our scale sound system speaker right there. Let me kind of zoom in a little bit. I may be getting, yeah, a little bright right there. But we'll have that speaker right there. And if I wanted to, I could probably take that down a little, but I don't think I need to. So that'll be right there. That'll be right there. And then we've got, let me measure this out. I have, from the Decoder Buddy back to where I've cut out back here, I have 54 millimeters. So I could put in that 50 millimeter speaker, but I think I'll go with the 40. That way I'll have room for my KeepAlive. Yeah, because I can't put it up here in the front. So if I go with the 40, I'll have enough room for the KeepAlive. So let's see. Let's get this back together. All that runs up through. Pull that off. Those will run up through there. Or rear pickups. And then our motor pickups. And wouldn't you know, I put that on there backward. Alright then, let's try this again. So that'll go there, there, get that pickup, and then we've got our motor, so there, we've got everything. We're right on top, right level with our motor. So I can flip this over and put these two brass screws back in. The way that'll hold that. Won't have to worry about losing the screws. And then I've got this one. Goes there. And then we got our screw for the rear. So we're all set with that. If I wanted to, I could put that there and the speaker here, but we're not going to do that. This will go up here. And see, that'll even give us a little room if we need it for our wiring. And that'll still give us, back here we'd still have, I've got 50 millimeters right there. So I think the 40 will be a good choice. That way, like I say, we'll have enough room for our KeepAlive that way. But we've got a good start on this, and we'll end up, I'll put double-sided tape on this to hold it down. That'll work really well for that. And then we can go on. But all right, I got some things to order. Here's a little, just kind of a little quick tip video that I want to do. Get this light out of the way. This is an SD50 that I'm going to be installing 2 of these scale sound system speakers in, and I'm going to be installing them in series. So I'll put a little drawing here in the video. That way you'll be able to see what I'm talking about with series. But so this is the way I'm going to have this laid out in this locomotive. And I'm just going to take them off here right now. I'll keep them in the way I want to the way I want to put them in there. And I'm going to go ahead and we'll tin these speaker contacts, and we'll also go ahead and we'll hook the wires up. That way you'll be able to see what we're doing here. Now, these speakers do not require any flux, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of heat that up. Put a little dab of solder there. We'll get that one. And to make this easier, I'm going to turn this one around. And these speakers are marked for positive and negative. The red is the positive, and then the blank side is the negative there. So that is the way I'm going to have these oriented in the locomotive. And we'll get out my piece of wire, and then I'm going to do this all with black wire. So you'll be able to see it in the description, or the drawing that I'm going to put in. So I'm going to tin these up. Alright, so I'm going to start back here with my big speaker. We'll connect our one side to our positive. Then we're going to come over to our other speaker. Connect that side to the negative. And then I've got 2 more pieces of wire here that I need to get these stripped and tinned. There's that side. So now I'm going over here to the positive terminal on this one. Yeah. Didn't quite get it. There we go. So we've got that one. Now I've got one more wire. We'll get it. Get some flux on that. We'll tin it up. Clean that off. Okay, now we're back here to our other speaker. And then that wire will go that way. So that's our speaker connections. We've got 3 wires, positive to negative. And then we have our negative terminal back here. It'll go to the positive side of our board. Let me get that out. And then this one that's positive will go to, well, this one will go to the positive and this one will go to the negative. Or vice versa. It doesn't matter right here on this board. So we've got a decoder buddy here. And this is what I'll show in my diagram. We have a speaker terminal and a speaker terminal. And then back here we have 2 speaker terminals. Pull this board off. 2 speaker terminals here and here. And I'll zoom in when I can. I still don't think you can read that, but you'll see it in the diagram. So we might as well just go ahead and hook this up. Set something underneath this. So on this side of the board, we're going to take our speaker wire, and I'm trying to get my hand out of the way. We'll come to a terminal here. And then we'll go over to this side, and we have to use the opposite one. All right. Let me see if I can. Now I'll zoom down on this. So we've got our speaker wire on one side, we've got the other side coming in the other way, and that'll give us our series connection. So now, if you want to test that, let me zoom all the way out here so you can get all 4 speakers, both speakers, and the wiring. Alright, so there's our wiring. Now if we want to test that, we can get our meter out. turned on. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not. Sure it would help if you could see it. So we're at 0 right now. Get our leads out. Got it hooked to my chair. So we'll come over here. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do that. There. Okay, now we can read it. So we'll test that. You can see we're right at 15.6, 15.7. And I wish the light wasn't shining on that. But so it should be at 16 when we're all said and done. Let's see if I can get a better. There we go. So it's coming down. We're at 15.6. 15.6 ohms. So there we go. There's our series wiring. Alright, we're back after we've got our frame milled and attached to the frame. Of course, you already saw that. So what we're going to do now is we'll attach our decoder buddy, and then we'll put our speakers in. And you can see I've kind of pre-wired these, but we'll go through that. What we're going to do is get out our double-sided tape, and we're going to start mounting things to the frame. So let's see. Piece of double-sided tape on the back of that speaker. Pull this over here. And then pull that. Piece of tape. Then I need a piece there for the decoder buddy. Stick that right on. Well, shouldn't have done that. Should have got a smaller piece. And I'll show you why here in a second. Let's see, I want to mount that like that. Piece there. I just needed some narrow pieces up here so it wouldn't be attached to the motor. So that'll work out good. Now pull my double-sided tape off. One more. There's always got to be one piece of tape. There's that. And I really want to put this thing this way. That way my motor wires will be right up here where I need them. So I'm gonna run them, try and run them up through this hole. That way we won't have to worry about them getting out into the frame. There we go. Okay, so there's the decoder buddy down. Now we'll go ahead and pull tape off of this. There's one. Go ahead and take it off of this piece. So I'll stick this one in. Try and center that up the best I can. So there's that. And there's that. So there's our two speakers and our decoder buddy mounted. Now we'll go ahead and install, put this wire in, our speaker wires. And we're hooking these up in series. Yeah. So what we've got is our positive lead, our negative lead. Our positive lead will go to one side of the decoder buddy, and then we'll have our lead from the rear speaker. If I can get it around where I want it. The decoder buddy doesn't care whether you're positive or negative, as long as you have both connections. So let's look at this real quick, and I may cut some of these wires off. Got them a little long, but so I've got one wire here from the positive back here where the red is. Let me see if I can zoom in just a touch. Maybe just get the speakers. Okay. We've got our positive on the speaker and a negative. Positive on the speaker, negative. So in series, we've got the negative on this side hooked to the positive on this side. Then we take our negative off of the speaker and we put it on the one side of the decoder buddy. And then on our positive side on our other speaker, we hook it to the opposite one on the decoder buddy. So that is our wiring for our speakers. So now I can take, and we'll get this all tucked in. I'm going to hook these two motor wires up, and then I'll be able to test this. See if I got my direction right, and then we'll go from there. So clean the tip of this off. Let's see. Cut that. Cut that. And then I can strip these off. Then I can tin these. I'll go ahead and well, if I could get that. And that one I'm going to have to trim back a little bit. Alright, now I'll try this and see if I got my direction the right, or my motor wired for the right direction. Put the decoder on it. That way we can give it a quick test. And I've got that. I put that on the wrong. Wow, we'll have to take a break. I put it on the 10, started to put it on the 10-pin board there. Alright, back to reality. Alright, here we go. Of course, now I don't have my track pickups on. Well, it's not going to do me a lot of good. Told you I needed to take a break. Let me pull this off. Getting in too big of a hurry. We'll go ahead and put on my track pickups, which is normally one of the first things I do. Strip all this off. Now what is this? There we go. Okay. Is that? And I'm just putting some flux on these right now. One, two, three, four. Now we'll start hooking our there's that one. that side. Three down, one to go. Okay. Now, I'll put the decoder on it. And I'll try this thing. Alright, I'll be back in a minute. Alright, I've got got it tested there. Direction is good. Before we did anything to it, I took and changed the settings down to 50%. That's what JT recommends on all of his speakers. So I did that. What I forgot to do was we'll put a KA2 KeepAlive in this TCS, and I'm going to set it back here in the back. And I'd forgot about it a minute ago, or a little bit ago, when I put the speaker in. So I'm going to take and pull this speaker up. And put in the KeepAlive. And I think I may have to redo the tape, because I just ruined it. But that's no big deal. Alright. Get some more tape out. And I knew I shouldn't have put my scissors away. I have better luck with the bigger pieces. So I'm going to put this, well, let's see. How much room do I need? Well, I'll move this all the way to the back. That way it'll be underneath of the radiator fans. We'll get that sound out of there a lot better. So there's that. Okay, and now I can take my KeepAlive and I'll tuck it right in here. Plastic off. we can get that. Move it over to the edge a little further. Alright, so there's that. Now I'm going to pull this back off. So I can hook my, for the Decoder Buddy, I'm going to have, there's the positive, and then the ground is right to the right of it. Excuse me. So, trim this off. And then I can do the same thing. My ground. Okay. So there's our negative. And I need to trim that one off a little. Alright, so now we're good on our KeepAlive. I need to shorten some of these wires up. And then I can start working on the lights. But before I do any of that, then we'll step away. Okay, I went ahead and took and shortened up my wires on this, and so that makes everything look neater. But the one thing I did notice, I went to try to put the body back on this, and I never thought about it while I was doing this. There's a channel on each side of this frame right here, and there's screws that go in on each side that screw the body on. So if you line that up, that's with these, okay? That will not slip over top of this speaker. So what I'm going to end up having to do is I'm going to take the speakers back off and the Decoder Buddy back off, and I'll unhook my track pickups because I need to mill this part of the frame right here out so I can slide this speaker back. I mean, it's no big deal to do, but you know, just hindsight's 20/20, I guess. So I don't think I can cut that while everything's on here without getting metal shavings and everything. So I'll just pull everything back off, and then I'll be able to get that straightened out to where I'll be able to screw the body back down on. So I guess right now, turn my soldering iron on. The thing I'll do is go ahead, remove everything, and then once I get this milled back, then we'll come back and I'll show you what I've done, and then we can start working on lights on the body itself. So, all right, live and learn. All right, get that light out of the way there. Get a little glare, but anyway, we're back and we're going to start putting the lights in this thing. I think for the headlight and the number boards, I'm just going to put one LED in, and that will do both the headlight and the number boards. The other thing I'm going to do is I think I will glue these class lights in, so we'll have those. And then there's a set of ditch lights that's been added to this, and I'm going to try to wire them up, I think. So, I mean, that'd be kind of interesting. And then there's this red or yellow beacon here, and there's one on the back also. And I think these were add-ons, but I think I'm going to take and see if I can't. Let's see if we can't get that off there. Might be able to put a 202 bulb in this. Doesn't seem to be on there. Well, there we go. It's not on there that well. And, oh, just shot that off into space. But luckily I found it. I don't know if I could drill that out to put a 202 bulb in there. I think I'll try. This one I don't think I'd be able to do that to. It's too small, this one in the back. But so I think that's going to be the plan. I don't want to overcomplicate this thing. So let's see if we can drill a hole here first. This is I think this is a 1/16 inch bit. 63 thousandths. Let's get my handy dandy little chart. Just a touch over 1/16. So let's see. We'll try to take this little knob off here. That way I can have a good center point to start with. Okay, that'll give me my light up in. Now, okay, now, I don't know if I'll be able to. this thing at all. Trying to give myself a little place to drill. Of course, I guess the way I can do that is set that bulb down in. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. Let's see. Actually, this is a 402 bulb. Get one of these out. Buy these pre-wired in packs of 10. And like I always do, I end up turning the wire 90 degrees to the light. I think, yep, I'm hitting the factory headlight there. So, we'll see if we can bend this a little and get it fed down through. Well, I don't know if I could feed them down any easier one at a time. Okay, well, you don't want to watch me do that, so I'm going to pause you here. Okay, so as you can see, I did get it in after a little while, but it finally did go the way I wanted it to. So now, hopefully I won't knock it off. But we're going to go ahead and work on our class lights. And they'll be right down in there. So I'll get out my super glue for this. And I think that I can just take a drop of glue and put it right on the light, and then set it right in place and hope that it That didn't work. Try this again. I've got it the way I need it in my hand. There we go. Nope. All right, that didn't work. So let's try something else. I have, this is an all-purpose cement, if it's not set up. Get out something to apply it with. Stir it up a little bit. This is a barge, all-purpose. I'm just going to put it down here so I can lay my wire in it. Try and bend this. It's too much of a I like that any better. Yeah, that is not going to do what I wanted it to do. So let me do this. Put some super glue in. Now I am too far. Well, I don't like that either. So I should go back to the normal way I do this. Just drill those out and run them in from the outside. I'd have better luck. So that is what I am going to do. Let me see if I can push that class light out. Yep. There we go. Nope, no, knocked my... Yeah, let's leave that off. Let that dry. There's one lens. And there's the other. Put them in my little extra parts bin. So now I've got those knocked out. And these ditch lights, I believe, are an add-on. I'm going to have to take them apart to be able to put anything in them. Looks like. So let's do a little bit of disassembly here before we start adding some more lights. Hoping then I can... I'm not going to be able to pop that right off. Just push them out. May have to touch that paint up just a little bit there. I have some die cast ones. From Details West. Let me get a set of those and see what they look like. Okay, I've got these off, and we'll see if I can drill this lens out. Okay, I dug out some Details West parts here. So this is a set of ditch lights, and I am going to take and drill this bottom out so I can get up into the case so we can wire this. 16-inch bit is too big. So let's see what I've got here in numbers. Probably like this is a 61, number 61. So and these are pot metal, so they don't drill hard. And I just got to get it drilled up to where I need it. Let's see how deep I am. I think I'm right about the edge of it, the opening. There we go. So I'll clean that out. Now I'll do the same. Let me kind of zoom in here so you can see what I'm doing. Maybe. Check and see how deep that is right now. I'm probably right on the edge of coming through. Yep. There, I don't know if you can see that in there or not. Cleaning out just a little bit. That way we won't have any shorts. So, let's put this away. Now, we'll take those, let's see, I don't know if these, I believe these 603s will be perfect. Yes. Yes, it will be. Alright, so what I'll do is put some micro crystal clear in there, and this will insulate those from the back of that also. I don't know. Just going to dip the light in. And I'll do the same with another one. Then we can put these off to let them dry. I can't even get it picked up. Okay. And I did this right in my way. So let's move some things around here. Okay, I laid those off to the side to dry. So now we'll do the same thing with our class lights. Run these through. And this method always works really well for me. On that one I forgot to take and put the wires at 90 degrees. So there's that one. Get back here to put these these wires out the way I need them. Alright, so there's that pulled through. Now I can take and put some micro crystal clear on those. We'll pull them through. Actually, I think I'll push them through. Okay, so I've got them pushed through there, and I'm going to have to let some of that dry before I do anything else. So I think this will be a good place for a break. Still got to do my headlights yet. But we'll let everything dry, and then we can work from there. Of course, I guess with this method too, I may be able to put in this rear beacon, but it's awfully small, terribly small. So I think I'll just skip on it and leave it there. But anyway, we'll let this dry and I'll go take a break, and then we'll be back. Alright, we're back, and still letting this kind of dry, but I keep looking at this light back here and the thing's driving me crazy. So I'm going to see if I can drill a hole and do like I did the front one there. So we'll get out our 1/16 inch bit. And I believe that might be that 1/16 is going to be just a little big. So let's go back to our number 61 here. And then we'll try to drill that. Well, if I can get it started, we'll try and drill it. Let's try that. Okay. Let me try. See if I can get a light. Now that I've got it drilled, I may be able to make it a little bigger. And I'm hitting the, there we go. Now I just got to do that to this side. Okay, now let's see. See if I can pull that down through. Alright, that worked. So now this one, instead of the micro crystal clear, I'm going to put a drop of CA on top of that, and then try and set that right back on top. Well, I've missed it. Okay, so I've got that back on there. Now we've got more to dry. So I've still got to do the rear light and the front lights, and we'll get to our ditch lights at some point when they dry. Okay, we're back, and what I did off camera was go ahead and install let's see, I've got the class lights in. I put the headlight in, and it takes care of the number boards. Of course, I'll have to put my beacon back on, but I've got the light in for the beacon. I've got this rear beacon. I got a light in it. And then my rear headlight and number boards, they also work. So now what I did for the headlight and the number boards, let's see if I can zoom in. Right back in here, in this light pipe, I guess is what you want to call it, I just drilled a small hole and placed a, let's see, these are 402s. These are 402 LEDs, and they're the warm white. So I drilled a hole and placed one right in the center of that, and I did the same thing out here on the front, right down in there. And the light shines right through the front of the locomotive, or through the headlight and the number boards. So we've got all of our lighting in. Now we are ready to start the process of connecting everything and getting it all wired up to our Decoder Buddy, to our 10-pin board. Of course, you can see I've taken the horn off. I'll put that back on after a bit. I'll put the globe back on this light after a while when we get done. So we might as well get to it here. Try to be careful here. I don't want to knock that dome off. So let me get my styrofoam. So there's that. So I'll turn on my soldering iron. And I think I'll start here on the back. One thing I do need to do is black out that light pipe in there, because if I don't, it'll shine through. So I'm going to have to take some black paint and put on that. So I'll get that out. Let's see. And I can use a micro brush for that. So that'll help tremendously with the light. And I'll do the same. Well, actually, I need to see. You can see where I've got that all painted up. We'll see if I can get the top here. Well, I can't. So let me I'll at least do the front. So I had the paint on my brush. Okay. That ought to keep the cab from lighting up. Okay, now I'm going to pull out this is my little setup here to put my Decoder Buddy on, the 10-pin board, while I solder everything to it. Makes it easier to solder. So, starting in the back. Let's see. These ones I'll have to leave these as long as possible. So I need to find a way to make this a little neater. Turn this chassis around so I can kind of see what's going on right there. Now in the past I've tried running small bits of heat shrink over these to keep them tucked in, keep them together, and I think I'll do that again. It does seem to work. Just got to kind of plan ahead. So let me get out a few small pieces of heat shrink. Nothing big, they're only about 1/8 of an inch long. So we'll kind of work with that. Keep these together. Okay. So that still gave me enough room to slide those down on there, even after shrinking it. Get another piece. Put one more. Okay. And I think I'm going to put a fourth one on that. That's seems quite long. There we go. All right, so there we've got that. Now, doing that, maybe I'll go to the front here, my front headlight. I think I'll put the headlight and the beacon together. And that way, the lights for the class lights will be all by themselves, and I won't have to fight them very much to figure out what they are. If I can okay. So let's cut a few more small pieces of heat shrink. Then we can get our wires all together. I got 3 out of 4. There we go. Okay, there's one. I'm going to go ahead and shut this off. Okay, now the one thing that I almost forgot was the ditch lights. So I've got the bare casing here, I've got the light in them, and I'm going to mount these into the same place where the other ones were. So I measured this little mount here. It's 77 thousandths. So I've got a small drill bit here, and I am going to carefully drill this out, which I don't know if I'll be able to do on camera or not. So I'll be back here in a second. Okay, so I got all the wires together, and I almost forgot one of the big things, the ditch lights there that I was going to put on. Now they're not painted yet, but we'll get that done. To mount those, I drilled a hole down through the anti-climber, and we'll get that all painted up. I've got some chessy blue or black. The bottom of this is black, but we'll get that painted up after a while. We'll get the ditch lights painted up after a while. But right now, we are going to take and start wiring this thing. So let's see what we can do here. We'll kind of make this as neat as possible. So I've got 3 sets of wires for 4 functions up front. The ditch lights, the class lights, the headlight, and the beacon. And then I have 1 set back here coming from the back for 2 functions, which is the rear light and there's a beacon back there. So we might as well start with the easiest one. Go back here and let's see now. I want to orient so here's the locomotive shell and the body. I kind of got distracted here a minute. I found a wire that's sticking down that could get caught under the frame. Alright. So, now where we're at, this board, this 10-pin board, will face in the direction that I've got it going. So this is the front and this is the rear. Okay, so you can see this corner right here is the rear lights, and this corner is the front headlights. So it'll be oriented the way we need it to go. So let's get this out here. Now the thing I need to do is figure out which is which. Both of my reds will be connected together. On this, they're the positive or the common, and the black wire is the function wire. So what I'll do, I'm going to cut these off all the same length. That way when I go to wire them together, they are in a neater bunch. But for right now, we'll do our 2 red. There's 1. There's 2. And then I can twist these together. And some flux on that. And then I can tin it up. Okay. Now I'll trim that off just a little bit. And we'll hook this over here on the side. Actually, I think what I want to do is put that up through the bottom. Yeah. Now I'm going to put it down through the top, that way it'll make that easier. So I'll flux that. So there's that connection. Now I just need to strip these off and we'll figure out which one's which. Guess we could make this really simple and hook everything up to the same output. One button controls it all. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flux and tin this one. And then I've got this pair of smart tweezers. So the light I just did is the beacon. And actually I need to plug that thing in. So it'll... Okay, so the beacon. Get some stuff out of the way here. I'll end up putting it on, and I always go to the directions. Actually, what we'll do is, and I think I showed this in my last video, I'm going to show it again because it makes it really simple to figure out where you want to put things and where they are. So let me turn you off for a second and I'll be back. Okay, now if you'll look right here, I have, this is the Decoder Buddy test board, and it's really great for this purpose right here, to figure out what functions you want to use. So right there, that's our forward headlight. There's our rear headlight. We'll go back to the forward one again. I'll get out my Tsunami instructions here for the lighting functions. So this is one of the 8-pin boards. So we're going to go to F24. And so there's F24. Oh. Turn that back on. Then we'll go, that's function 3. Then we'll go to F25. That's function 4. F26. That's function 5. F27. And then F28, that's going to be our ditch lights. So there's those two, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 functions. Actually, F28 won't be our ditch lights. Because if I do that, I won't be able to make them flash, I don't think. I'll have to try that. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to make them flash, I don't think. But anyway, this is what this light board is great for. So we've got there's our front headlight again, and then our other 6 functions. So anyway, I'll work off of that, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so before I went on, or before I go on, I wanted to try CVs, or functions 7 and 8 to use for ditch lights. And it can be done. So this is another great thing about this board right here. I can program this, make sure it works before I start soldering anything up. So I'll just show you here real quick. I've got it set to the grade crossing. Of course, I've got the sound turned all the way off. But you can see when I blow the horn that those 2 CVs, or 2 lights, are flashing. So, now to do that, and I'll put this on the screen too, CV55 and CV56. And this is all in the manual, but I'll put it up on the screen. So CV55 should be set to a value of 73, and CV56 will equal 105. And that'll give you your flashing ditch lights on FX7 and FX8. So now we can continue on with our wiring. I have everything written down that I need to know, and we're all good. So I'll be back. Okay, so now we're back after that little tutorial on ditch lights. Let's go ahead and, of course, now I say ditch lights, but I'm back on the rear beacon. So we'll go ahead and get it fluxed and tinned. And I'm going to put it on A2. Which is right there. We'll get it stuck down through. I may have to get my magnifying glass out, and after I'm done I'll trim all these off when I flip it over. So there's A2, and then we've got our rear light right here. Strip that off. Some flux on that. And that's our rear light. So it'll go up in this corner. Okay, put a little bit of flux on that, and we'll clean all this off too after we get these together. So there's our rear light. Get out some alcohol. So that's 2 of our 7 functions. Now we can go to our so this thing is going to set. I'm lining my shell up with my chassis that I've got out here in the back that you can't see. So those wires will be good. Yeah, they'll be good. Tuck that up in there. Now I've got my front headlight and beacon. And I am going to shave off, I think, about 3 inches of wire there. That'll give me plenty. First off, we'll do our reds because they hook together. Zoom back out here. Oop. Can hook them together. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and get these tinned up. Okay. We'll go ahead and put them over on this side. And I've lost my I have to get me another set of tweezers because I keep looking at these and losing them. Okay. That on there. Clean that tip off. And there's that connection. In between hooking up wires, I pick up something else off the workbench and throw it away. So we've got that. Now we will strip off a wire and see if it's our front beacon or if it's a headlight. Get out these. That is the beacon. So that beacon, I'm going to make it F26. And I'm writing all these down. and that'll go to A3, which is the second one. So some flux on that. I'll put some flux down there. There's that. There's that. Actually, yeah, why? I mean, it's no big deal. I've got A1 there I can use for something. So, okay. And then this is our headlight. And it goes in the top corner. I'll show you. Goes right there. Alright, so there's 4 functions hooked up. Now we'll move on to, let's see, we've got our ditch lights. Might as well do our class lights because it's going to be one connection. So I can take and trim it off. Slide that down. Moving my heat shrink that I put on. And I can trim off about 3 inches of that. actually. Don't want to cut myself short here. Okay, now we'll take and get our reds out. There's one. There's two. Now we'll put them together. Okay. There's our flux. To let go of that for a second. Okay, there's the positive side. Now don't have to worry about any resistors in these if you've been wondering, because the resistors are built into the board on the Decoder Buddy. So now I'm going to do my black wires, and I've got everything kind of offset here to one side. So let's get some of this moved around. All right, I guess if you wanted to, you could hook up these class lights separately, and you could have another they wouldn't be ditch lights, but you could get them to flash. I don't know why you'd want to, but you could. That. I'm going to drop that for a second. Okay. So now let's go to our positive. I'm going to bend a little kink in that. Put it over here. There's that. Okay. So we're good there. Now I need to get out this. We'll put a little kink in it. And these are our class lights. So I'm going to put them on A1. And I'm writing that down. So that'll be get this out of the way. That'll be this corner right here. A little bit of flux. Okay, we are moving right along. The only thing we have left to do is the ditch lights. Could clean a little bit of that. Might have to get me a micro brush in there. So, my class lights, I can still take and hook my two reds together. Wrong wire strippers. Oh, let me see what I can cut off here. Moving the heat shrink back around on the class lights. And I think I'll do the same. Cut a couple of inches off. And then we can go back to our rid of some of my stray wires there. hard time with this one. Okay. All right, there's the positive side. Take it and put it over here. Actually, I'm going to do this positive side last. I'm going to put it over here, but I don't want it to be in my way. So I'm going to move on to the two functions. Get some flux. Just going to do one side at a time here. This side. Okay. Down to the last three connections. So I'm looking for A5 and A6. So that will be right there. That's A6. I might as well go across. Some flux on that one. A5. Doesn't matter which one's which. Well, if I can get it down through. Come on. For some reason, I may have to get out the magnifier. Well, I just missed that one completely. There we go. Ugh. Sometimes maybe what it is, I may have too much solder on the tip of that. That one went right in there. So now I'm going to try to solder this with my left hand. Okay. Now all I need is my red one, and I'm going to put it out here. And I think I've got too much solder on the tip of that one too. There's that. There's that. And our last connection. And that's kind of loose. Well, what in the world? Get up the magnifier. There we go. All right. So, everything is hooked up. I need to pull the board off of there. First, I want to get a little micro brush and clean it up. But other than that, we have all of our functions hooked in. I'm going to trim those wires off. But other than that, we are almost ready for a test. So let me pull that off. Can't keep hold of it. All right. Let me give a little more alcohol and clean the bottom of this off. So now, let me pull the locomotive up here, move that out of the way. I'm going to pull our test board off. There, I just dropped my test board. Pick that up. So now we should be able we'll plug that right in, and then tuck all of our wires up in. Trying to make sure everything is up in. Okay, so that's roughly it. Now I want to take and test that before I do a lot more to it. So I'll be back. Okay, I've got you down here on the side view, and we've got it all back together. So let's plug the DCC system in and go through the startup. Okay, so she's fired up, and I haven't changed the prime mover or the horn or the bell, but we'll give them a listen here. Of course, with these scale sound system speakers, got that really good low end on them. this is set down about 60%. So let me start this, start it moving. That way you can hear that ramp up a little bit. And I did add, this is one of the 8 function Soundtraxx boards. I've used 7 of the functions. So let's kind of go through and we'll see what we got. You can see the flashing rear light. And we've got a flashing front light. Of course, we've got our headlight and number boards. We'll pull around here a little bit. And then we've got our ditch lights. And of course, they do flash. And you can hear the flange squeal. And you might be able to hear the clickety-clack here. But I think this model, it came out really well. So let's ramp it up a little more. And that's our completed model. So, thanks for watching.